I grew up in South London with my mom and my grandma. My mom is a really, really big jazz fan. Music was always a big part of my childhood. Moving to LA from London was so huge. It was just something that I felt like I had to do in order to get where I wanted to be. I went to school for music. I always thought, I'm not good enough, I can't do it. But once I picked it up and started developing my skills, then it's just something that I just love to do, and it kind of comes naturally now.
I've been designing for the better part of 30 years. I started literally breaking into art school in order to silkscreen my original shirts to now having a team of 50 people, quarter century in street culture. That is crazy. I was a pioneer in adapting this kind of mixed skate, punk, and hip-hop culture. It's super important to push your own boundaries. What used to scare me is now like, okay, this is something good now.
I'm super, super honored to be able to meet Jeff Staple and work with him, and I respect his knowledge and his opinion so, so much, especially when it comes to streetwear.
What up?
Hi.
I'm Jeff.
Nice to meet you, I'm Ella.
So nice to meet you. So I have heard that you are working on some new projects. Tell me more about them.
Yeah, I've always loved streetwear, but I want to like really, really get into it, and I know you're the man for it, so I wanted your help.
I have some experience in this game. So I got an idea. How about we go back to my studio, we brainstorm on some ideas, and then we get working from there.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Let's go. Streetwear was a big inspiration for you, or is, right? Tell me about what exposure you got in London with streetwear.
I think I really got it from my brother. When I was growing up, I grew up in London, and I also went to high school in New York. He would throw together kind of like anything, I feel like, but he just made it look good, and I always just wanted to be like him. I
mean, London and New York are really the epicenters of street culture anyway, so you got it from the roots up. What is it about streetwear in particular?
I love the comfort factor. It has a lot of character, and it's a great form of expression.
Tell me about when you create a merch line, what do you think that your fans want to get from you on that?
I think fans just want another piece of you, I think.
Yeah, it's like a memory.
Yeah, it's definitely a memory. Like every time I put the shirt on, I can remember I was at this show or like where I bought it.
Everyone calls me a control freak. That's what's helped me survive for all of these decades. I'm equal parts artistic, but also equal parts business-minded. Quality control is one of the first things that I learned really early on. Nobody can do it better than you. I'm involved in the design, creative direction, the marketing, the storytelling. I'm involved in every single touch point. You were telling me that you have one album and you have merch for that album.
Yes.
And are you working on another project right now?
Yeah, so I've been working on my sophomore album.
Okay.
And I've been trying to get out of my head, because it's the sophomore curse, as everybody says.
Yeah.
But I definitely would love to have merch for that.
Okay, so I'm looking here at your first merch line. This was for your first album, and it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got a tee, a long sleeve, and a hoodie.
Yes.
You want to do the same thing, or you want to like elevate it a little bit?
Yeah, I think we should elevate it, definitely.
Okay.
But keep it.
Okay, so let's keep the tee, long sleeve, and hoodie, but we'll add, and if I could suggest either an accessory item, like a pouch, a bag, or a hat, or like an outerwear piece, like a track jacket or something like that.
I love the track jacket idea.
Okay,
I'm a big jacket person. I get inspiration from literally any and everywhere. I think it's all about not putting yourself inside a box. I think doing a streetwear line, especially for my fans, would be super exciting. Exploring in the fashion world is a little bit scary for me.
I'm imagining like your 80s B-boy, B-girl kind of like track jacket, right? Okay,
love
cool.
It. What would you suggest material-wise?
So I would imagine there's things like breathability, flexibility, right? These are important elements to you?
Very important, yes.
Okay, so we'll get actual performance fabrics, mesh, things like that. And I actually think your fans will appreciate that too.
I think so.
It's an everyday wear that they can use, you know?
What inspires you and what keeps your ideas fresh?
You know what's important for me is always having like an antenna out to the world of what's going on. Take the subway, I take the bus, I always want to absorb what's happening.
Right.
If you're just keeping an eye on real people, on real streets, you'll never get bored. For the past few decades that I've been doing this, I have made so many mistakes, messed up so many times. The thing to remember is that like these setbacks are really just learning lessons for you to shape and mold yourself. Doing something like this is almost like molding a piece of clay, and it's a never-ending adjustment. I want to shift gears and talk a little bit more about how to release the product to your fans. This is like what is known in my industry as the go-to-market strategy. How do you now release the merchandise to your fans?
Right now it's on my website, and we just kind of whenever it's ready, we'll do like a little countdown or something.
There's this idea between being like super democratic where everyone can get it versus being like exclusive and limited edition. Which one do you prescribe to
I'm in
more?
the middle of that because I like the idea of it being exclusive, but I also like the idea of everybody being able to take something home and have memorabilia.
So like if we did one line that was like democratic, always available, everyone can get it. And then another line that was like exclusive. Yeah, and it could just be a variant in the colorway. I'm actually walking you through the process of how to actually go about doing a streetwear business. So first, we talked about inspiration and your purpose, right? Second, we went into the creative aspect of what you're inspired by. And then third, we went into the end goal, the finish line of what you want to do. And then fourth was the go-to-market strategy. And so these are really the 4 pillars of a fashion brand. I think what we should do now is distill all of these notes onto the computer and we can get to work from there.
Working with Jeff today was amazing, just to see the way he broke everything down and his process and the way his mind works. I'm excited to kind of use those pointers that he gave me going forward. Thank you so much. Honestly, you brought my ideas to life and I loved watching your process, so thank you.
Of course, of course.
If you have a passion, why wouldn't you go for it? I'm super excited to see everything come to life and I know my fans are gonna love it, so I can't wait for them to see it too.
Whenever I'm doing something creative, whether that's designing a sneaker or running my business, I'm doing what I love. Alter Ego encourages you to get more into whatever you're into.